This video is sponsored by JA Transportation. Take the hassle out of vehicle transportation or recovery by giving them a shout. And don't forget, use discount code SALVAGENATION to receive 10% off. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. First of all, how are you? I am happy because as you've just seen, I just took delivery of the bonnet for the M4 and it feels so good to say it again. We're back on the M4 and I'm still over the moon that we were able to secure this M4, and I just want to thank you guys for taking your time to watching me do what I do. Anyway, enough talking. We got an M4 on the channel that we need to repair, so I'm not even gonna talk anymore. Let's get the car from outside, bring it inside. We're gonna start to strip down everything. I'm hoping that I don't find anything that's too damaged, and then we're gonna start to fit some parts because I've got my bonnet and I've also got some other bits that I need to show you. So, first of all, let's get the car in. Now, as you just saw at the beginning of this episode, I took delivery of that bonnet. Before I put that on though, I need to head down to, I think it's Infield. I'm gonna head down to BMW in Infield. I need to pick up a few more bits. We're gonna be sorting out my suspension because I found out that the suspension leg is slightly bent, so I've got a new one of them on the way. It should be here by the time we get back. So let's head down to BMW. We're gonna come back and then I'm gonna show you some more bits on the M4. Alright so guys, so I've just made it back from Stephen James in Infield, and as you can see, I had to go get another control arm for the BMW M4 because if you remember in episode 1, I went down to Euro Parts, I gave them the reg and everything, and sometimes this happens with Euro Parts, they give the wrong parts. But last time, just to get the car into the garage, we ended up doing a temporary fix on that, but off camera, I went ahead and I made an order with BMW. They had to order this part over from Germany, and I got the phone call this morning to say that it was there, so I went down and I picked this up. So I'm gonna be swapping this out, and at the same time, like I said earlier, we found out that the suspension leg and the hub, all of that has got damaged, so we just didn't want to take any risks, and I went ahead and I got a complete assembly. This is the complete strut. This has got the electronic damping as well. It's the one for the M series. Ooh. And with that one gone, like I was saying, this is the one for the M series, so I'm going to be swapping all of that out. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead, I'm about halfway through stripping down the front end, and I've just noticed something, you just seen it. If anyone knows what that radiator or oil cooler or some sort of cooler underneath on the M4, if you know what that is, let me know in the comments right now. I'm not sure what it is because it's my first time working on the M4, but we found some damage to that radiator which is underneath the car. And there's some other broken bits of plastic and stuff, but there's nothing that's too worrying, or there's nothing that I'm scared of so far. And I'm happy, like so far so good on the teardown on the M4. Let me show you what I'm talking about in a bit more detail. So as you can see, the wing has come off. The wing looked a mess. That's where all the damage and all the impact was there. But if you have a look underneath the wing, this top chassis arm, the only damage here is this connecting piece here, and we're gonna try to straighten that. But if we can't, we can order just this part from BMW. I can see a part number right there, and it's got the 2 bolts right there, and that should just be an easy replacement, so I'm not worried about that. But what I'm worried about is this chassis arm right here, and that's completely fine. I'm gonna have to get new plastics right there because that's busted. Coming up to the top, that radiator there looks okay. It's got a slight dent on the side, but I'm not too worried about that. It's not leaking, so that will still do its job. Everything across the top, there's no issues. This headlight is nice and solid, no issues there. Coming around the front, there's still no issues that I can see. Nothing that I'm really overly concerned about. Like I showed you in episode 1, the wheel, the kind of suspension arm broke. This went backwards, which is the hub carrier. The wheel impacted on the side, and I'm assuming this is why they made it a Cat S, because there's nothing else. There's no other structural damage other than this bracket and right there. It's ridiculous. I don't know why this car is a category S, but it's good for people like myself. It's good for the channel. Everything on that side is all good. The engine is all good. Gearbox is all good, and I'm happy. What I want to do now is tear down this section here, get the nuts and bolt out for that suspension leg, remove all of those control arms. I've got the replacement leg there, replacement control arm right there. Get all of those on the car, and I want to get the car outside and just see if it's driving any better before we fit the bonnet. Well, actually, I'll fit the bonnet before I take the car out, obviously. Fit the bonnet, and this man here, let me zoom in. Look at him. That's all he does. Sit and smoke. Nah, I'm joking. This guy here, he'll give us a hand. I kill. But for now, there's a ton of work to do, so let's continue. Guys, that's how you use a jack stand, to give you a little helping hand when everything keeps spinning on these control arms. Oh, it's so difficult once you don't know what you're doing, but I've changed so many of these. That is 1, 2, 3 control arms free, and all I need to do now is remove the brake caliper, all the wiring, and a few bolts at the top, and all of that is going to come out together, and I can replace the whole lot. So a lot of work, but I love this stuff, man. What I think I'm going to do to get a little bit more space, like some of these wires have gone behind the broken plastic, I'm just going to remove all of this stuff, get all of that off, and see how things are going. I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of content. It's getting very technical, and I'm bringing you right first class seats to all the action. I wish I knew how to help her hand, but what? This is where I wish I knew how to help her hand, but Akil's gone home. Okay. And I know people are gonna tell me about my sliders, but before you do, I've got no excuses. Oh God. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, that was hard. Man, oh man. It's tiring work. One arm, my muscle is caved. A little bit of hard work and hard graft. Right, anyway, it's getting late. It's just gone 8 o'clock, everyone's gone home. I'm gonna put you on a time lapse, blitz up all of this, get everything back on, and then I wanna get the car out, take it for just a little run just down the street, and see how it feels, see if everything, because we decided to just go and replace the entire corner, as you can see, and hopefully that does the trick. So I'm gonna stick you on the time lapse, get all of this buckled up. So there you have it, have a look. As I've just shown you in the slow motion shots, everything has been replaced. I went ahead and I replaced the broken suspension leg, the broken suspension arm, and just as a precaution, I went ahead and I got a new hub and everything, and it's all been replaced. Everything should be fine, everything should be good to go. But there's only one way to find out, and that's taking the car outside, having a little bit of a rip on the road outside. Nothing too crazy, we just want to see if it's working. But before I do that, I've got, if you look right in the back, you see the orange bonnet that I bought today that came at the beginning of this video. Let's get it on the car and get the car outside. That, guys, is how you put on a bonnet on your own. Now, I'm joking. If you're putting on a bonnet, make sure you always have someone to help you. It can damage the car or it can damage the actual part. But because I'm spraying it, that's why I've gone ahead and I've done all of that. Guys, that is just a rough fitment. I just slapped it on there, tighten it down, and that's just to show that there's no chassis damage. Everything on the car is just so true. Everything is lined up perfectly. Have a look at that. And the lines are not too bad. Obviously, we can do a bit more on the lines, but it's not too bad. Let's make sure that it opens up. There you have it. I just want to put that nut on, tighten those up. Ready to rock and roll. Let's get that bumper on, get the car outside. So I'm actually excited for this. I've driven a lot of cars, but I've not driven an M4 before. Before I go, I want to show you this. Now I know on the screen here it's not 100% accurate, but check this out. I am convinced this car has got some sort of a tune. That is saying 640, like an 800 Newton meters of torque. These are meant to come with around 420, 425 from stock. And look, that's saying 640, and the only way this will change is if it's been mapped. So yeah, when the car is all done, we'll be taking it on a dyno. I want to see the actual figures for this car, man. But yeah, let's go give it a little run, see what's going on. And already it feels a lot better. Yeah guys, that didn't go to plan. As soon as I took the car outside, I can still hear lots of metal grinding and clunking. It's like a clunky sound. I don't want to break or damage anything else. The engine sounds good. I can feel there's lots of power, as I said. But as soon as I heard all of that grinding and clunking noise, I can potentially damage something more. So I don't want to damage. Actually, let me switch it off. There's no engine lights or anything on the car. But yeah, I just don't want to run the risk. I will come in the morning. It's quite late. We've managed to get a lot done so far, and this is only the second episode, but it's quite late, so I'm going to catch you guys in the morning where we can investigate that clunking, grinding noise a little bit more. Akil will be in, and I'll have some help. We can go next door, put it up on the lift, and properly investigate underneath what's happening, what's going on, and hopefully just continue laying into this car and really trying to get it sorted out. So it's been a long one. I'm tired, so I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning guys, so it's the next morning here. As you've just seen, we've just brought the car from our garage next door to multi-car repairs. We're gonna put it on the lift and we just want to examine everything that's underneath the car, because even driving it in, there's so many knocks and it's still very clunky and we can hear some sort of a grinding. I'm gonna get Zafar to have a look and then hopefully we can get the car sorted. So let's have a look. Okay guys, so I think Zaf has found something.
That's the one.
It's
look
plain
from the
to
back.
see. Yeah, definitely.
This is look like U-shape now.
Yeah.
You need to be straight.
And this one is straight.
Like this.
Let me
this
get
one
some
you need
light.
to be replaced.
So this is the good side, this is straight. So basically, from just looking at it, we thought it was just this one that was bent, the one at the front, but this one is bent as well. So I'm gonna have to go get that, change that, and then we'll come back and see.
And look, when this one bends, you pull the tire inside.
Yeah.
That's why it's tracking out is all. But if you put it on, tracking is gonna come for straight position by itself, yeah.
Do you see any other damage under there?
Let me get my light.
I know this red pack is gone. We need to change this. This is the oil cooler.
Yeah, let me get my
I think it's for the gearbox oil cooler, so we need to change this. But guys, that is a shame, man. This one is bent as well. So this is the one I picked up from BMW yesterday. We swapped out the whole strut. And this one we didn't see. And this is why you always have to go over. But this is broke, this is bent. You can see that big old bowl right there compared to this side is straight. But Zaf is gonna check it all out. Oh,
You need to change the rims.
the rim. Oh my God, look at that, guys. The rim is gone. Wow. Nah. Did not want that. And that's a new hub. I changed the hub, everything, so it's definitely the alloy.
Need to do the rims as well.
So one rim.
Oh, take it to the repair. Let them to make it straight.
Guys, if anyone's got one of these alloys, and it's a shame because this is actually good condition, but if anyone's got one of these alloys, do let me know. I'm looking for one of them now. Everything else underneath seems to be fine. It just needs a bit of a clean. I want to know what they've done with the exhaust. It looks pretty standard, but it sounds different, to say the least. There's all sorts of, look at this, like, what is that?
Drink.
That's the petrol tank, so it's a good thing that didn't get punctured. Do you see anything that you're worried about?
Take this bracket off.
Yeah, got to sort that bracket.
Make it straight.
And what were you saying about the exhaust? Because it definitely sounds different. So you're saying that it looks like it's been decatted, or it's got some sort of a sports cap. It's got the secondary cats in, but this one it hasn't got this the kind of standard first cats, which is good because we think this car's got a remap. So decatting or putting the sports cat would be an indicator that it's got some sort of work. More twigs. But there's nothing crazy that I'm seeing and I'm happy. So I'm gonna go on the hunt today for this and try to get that sorted. Alright you guys, so it's the next morning. I left the M4 with multi-car repair overnight. They went ahead and changed that second arm for me. I was so busy doing some other bits. And you're gonna see it very soon, but they've done the arm for me. The wheel looks so much better now in terms of how straight it looks, but there's only one way to tell, so let's start it up, take it for a little spin up and down the street, see what's happening. Let's get a cold start for you lot. I don't know if this is the placebo effect, but already since the car came, when you turned the wheel like this, you were hearing a little knock. You were hearing something. Yeah, now it's just a lot better. Once it warms up, we'll take it out.
Good.
It feels a lot better now. Okay. A lot better.
Do tracking, that's it done.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Tracking.
Park it.
Cool. So guys, there you have it. This thing is now driving. I still need to do tracking, but I'll do that off camera. But we have made a lot of progress in this episode, and in the next episode we're going to continue with that progress, and I'm just going to be blitzing out more and more content on this M4, and then we're going to be doing something really special which involves this car, my M140i, and some others. So if you want to see how we get on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you press the like button. Just listen to how this car sounds. Oh, stay tuned. That's all I've got to say. I'm going to take the car for tracking and finish off a few bits, and in the next episode we'll continue with the assembly, so stay tuned for that. So this is where we're going to head off, and like I always say, keep it moving, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Click here to see what YouTube thinks you should watch. Click here to watch one of my previous episodes, and like it said there, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. We out.